All right, this is a constant mesh transmission 5-speed. What we're going to do, we're going to go over the components as well as the power flow, if you will. And starting from the input shaft to the inner bearing, this here is a cluster shaft here. Underneath, these are the gears. This is first, second, third, fourth. This is fifth and reverse. Reverse will always be a helical. The rest of them, the reverse is always spur, and these are called helical. And this is why it's called a constant mesh, because it's always constantly meshing with other gears. Okay. This is the clutch assembly. Clutch assembly comes with a flywheel, pressure plate, flywheel pressure plate, and it mounts to the transmission, which is here. And with that said, we're going to end right now. We're going to talk about the power flow. Power flow being from the engine to the transmission, basically. Starting from the engine, we starting at the crankshaft, going to the flywheel, then to the pressure plate. To the pressure plate, which is here. Then the friction plate, which is here. Then to the input shaft, which is here, because it's the friction plate here is splined, and you can see the splines here, and the splines right there to the input shaft. Input shaft to the input gear. Input gear to the counter gear, which is here. Then select the drive gear, which is here. The driven gear, the collar, which is here, collar sleeve, to the hub. This is the hub here, which holds the dog teeth, which keeps the gears from being mixed, if you will. The output shaft, which is here. This is the drive. These are the driven. And from there, it's driven out to the rear wheels. Now, the chief complaints at times is because of the fact that the bearings, which are here and here, this is your input bearing. Normally, if you hear any kind of growling, squealing, it would be because of these bearings, because of the inner race not caught up with the outer race, basically. So in other words, this inner race here starts to spin. And if that starts to spin, that means it's off the input shaft. That means it'll sit there and spin and make a real nasty noise in the transmission. This bearing here will do the same. Any other chief complaints about shifting? If it feels like it's too much play in it, it's because of the shifting linkage here. As you can see here, it has too much play. That could cause a problem. Here at the outer end here, at the output shaft, there's an output shaft bearing here. It also can go bad. And also, if you look right here to those little gold teeth, which allow to get whatever gear you need to select, it stays in that gear. If these were to lose their teeth, this collar here will shift out and they end up going into another gear. And that's also a common problem. So that were the powertrain components and problems and faults as far as transmissions are concerned in video with JB.